pay for equal work of equal value. According to UN, worldwide women only make 77 cents for every dollar earned by men, which results into lifetime income inequality between men and women. As a matter of fact, women in workforce increased significantly during second half of the 20th century that led to multiple discussions around gender equality. And one of the important aspects which was discussed at that time, and it is being discussed even today also, is gender pay gap. I'm being joined by a fantastic guest from Iceland. He feels very, very strongly about this issue and he has been working a lot towards it. His name is Vidir Rangnarsson. He is an equality advocate working as group head of people analytics at OR. Hi Vidir, we welcome you on our show and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Rajni, and thank you for your kind introduction. And I also want to congratulate you on your fantastic job you are doing towards equality.
Thank you so much, Vidir. Thank you so much. So, Vidir, I would definitely love to know a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey, apart from what you have mentioned on LinkedIn on your profile, and also the reasons that gravitated you to raise voice towards gender pay gap.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been working within the company. I'm fully working within Reykjavik Energy and OR, it's called, for 10 years. And it's kind of started just by, well, in my role as looking at data within the company. And we have management that is very focused on being equal and not only showing the right figures, but having the right reality behind the figures.
Right.
So it's kind of very easy just to show on your company homepage some figures that are basically showing some reality that is not the reality. So we have a well focused management that is well kind of eager to show that the reality in the company is equal. So and we also have this laws here in Iceland that gives us well, it's leading towards equality both in pay and also in management and board members of boards and things like that. So from being in this role in the company and within a company that is so focused on equality, I became more and more interested in this field. Iceland has well a reputation of being kind of paradise for equality, and some believe that everything is very equal here, and it surely is. It surely is very equal compared to states all over in the world. But we also have a lot of issues here, a lot of things we have to work on.
Yes.
So yeah, from there I started having interest in this field and always looking at the data and presenting data on equality. Well, we have showed a result in gender pay gap, closing the gender pay gap within the company, and helped in developing software to close the gender pay gap. So I've been, that has given us quite some publicity, and I've been part of that in telling the world and telling other companies about how we did it and how it can be done, and how we can collect data looking at the gender and revealing different realities of the gender within both companies and countries by collecting data and looking at data in that respect.
Right, right. So, Vidir, as we all know that there are multiple factors which are responsible for causing gender disparity as far as pay is concerned. In your country, in Iceland, what factors do you feel are prominent? Prominent, because factors also vary from country to country. You know, somewhere it is stereotypical mindset, somewhere it is more patriarchal society, somewhere it is something else. But in country like Iceland, I would definitely love to understand what are those factors that you feel, according to you, are most prominent, which are causing gender pay disparity.
Yeah. Well, of course, it is well, some kind of implicit biases within how we look at women and men differently. Mm-hmm. We are well, it's a societal issue that we look at. Although we have a prime minister now that is a woman, we have had one president that is a woman. We look at those in power mainly as men, and they are men. We have a lot of difficulties within our community in making the head of the companies, the CEOs, making efforts in equalizing and giving women more power in those roles. So it is factors like that, and it's also we are not seeing men and women choosing equally the education and in the roles that are where we have, well, typical women roles and men roles, just as in other countries. In this company, we have been it's mainly is dependent on technical and engineering and trades. We have been trying to have an effort to get girls into trades, and it's very slowly progressing. But it's of course a societal issue. We are people are, well, they like the idea of girls going into trades, but they don't like the idea of their girls going into trades. So, the biases are there within ourselves, and we have to work on that. So women and girls are mostly into something that has to do with caring and overseeing something, and men are mostly in the power and having power and managing, if it is other people or some facilities. But within the same job roles, what we are seeing mostly contributing to gender pay gap is different kind of degree of power within each job role. That women have basically lower power, lower responsibilities, and lower graded responsibilities, and men have higher graded responsibilities. So
right. So Vidir, as a consultant, as an advisor, as someone who has been working in this field for past many years, and has been quite interested in, eliminating all these disparities. How do you feel such gaps can be eliminated and bridged, and what measures are needed to be taken as an effective solution to this benign issue?
Yeah. Well, I'm now coming to the conclusion that we just need some heavy structure to change this, either through some legislation or through within companies a very willing, well, kind of structure that we say we are going to do this and we are going to do it by this means, and data to show how people are progressing towards that. Goodwill will not bring us anywhere in this, I believe. But we need either some legislation or and that legislation has to be more than we, well, choose to be equal. It has to be how are we going to do it, and it's a good action plan and a way to measure the progress on that action plan, and some ways to go back and act. So I think we need to be much more, well, it has to come from above, either within the companies or within the legislation. So I'm rarely seen it happening just by itself, and it is really a transfer of power from men to women, right. And that doesn't happen and hasn't not happened in any case just by itself.
That hasn't happened in any case, but what measures do you think can be taken to make them happen?
Just as I say, well, we have to have a management that is focused on these issues. And there, well, we have to show that the more varied and more diverse workplaces are functioning better. Mm-hmm. And we have some research that point to that direction. Mm-hmm. But because, well, the more voices you have within the companies and in the decision-making processes, the better decision you make. The more voices, like men and women, and age. We are also working towards age differences. So the more varied groups that takes the decision, the better the decision is generally. So it could be more of a work to get to the decision, but the decision is better. And that is kind of what is also hindering this process, because people look at, well, it's too difficult to get more voices to the table. Yes, it is. But you would need new skills just to, well, listening in other ways to both women and men, older and younger. And but if you do that, you get a better decision making in the company, and a better decision that is serving more people.
Right. So Vidir, in one of the answers you mentioned that people want girls to join different trades, but they don't want their girls to join on different roles. So for such people, what message do you have?
Well,
I hope I am not putting you in a difficult situation by asking this question.
No, totally fine. Well, we can't force people to just, well, it's a good idea. If it is a good idea, it's also a good idea for your daughter. I would say that also. And someone has to be the leader in that. I know also that we are putting girls in difficult spot by forcing them into fields that are male dominated, because we have or research shows and our experience shows that you have to have some critical mass for girls to, well, just feel safe and flourishing in these fields. And we see that in tech also, as you probably know, that the girls are, well, they are coming in greater quantity, but they are also leaving faster, because the culture in the work is not welcoming to them. So of course it is difficult to it's not just a matter of just putting more girls into these jobs. We have to also change the culture within the jobs, and that is the responsibility of the companies and the workplaces. So the worries of the parents are totally understandable, and it's always more difficult to be the first to go into such fields. They are brave, these women that are going into these jobs.
Right, wonderful. So Vidit, thank you so much for your time and having this wonderful conversation with us. We really appreciate it. We wish you all the best for your all future endeavors and projects. And thank you so much once again for your time.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a pleasure talking.
Thank you guys for watching.